Yo, what up? This your boy Infamous D. We at Sunset Agency with Chicago Street TV.
When I'm bored, I'm in your hood cruising, hoping I catch some motherfuckers snoozing. The first ones are the dumb fucks I'm choosing. Shooting niggas from other gangs is amusing. I gangbang so much they want me to take a vacation. I'm a ride or die soldier for my motherfucking nation. No.
Can you let us know what part of Chicago you're from?
Pilsen, son.
For those that ain't from the area, you want to describe what is Pilsen like?
Pilsen, I would say, or at least growing up, was a little bit violent in the 90s. So there'll be days that I'll cross the street to Ochoa Grocery, dodging bullets just to play maquinitas and get some 25-cent chips, you know? Del Diablito, we used to call them.
So how would you describe the neighborhood of Pilsen now?
It's a little bit more gentrified. Like there's a lot of more, they call them yuppies, you know? So now it's more like less people in the streets, more people walking around 18th Street, for example, especially on the what we call the east side of Pilsen. Like technically, they don't even consider us Pilsen anymore. They consider us the heart of Chicago, which is like in the middle between Pilsen and Little Village, but we still call it Pilsen.
You want to let the audience know what exactly your ethnicity is?
So I was born and raised in Chicago, but both of my parents are from Mexico, from Moroleón, Guanajuato.
You been to Mexico before?
Yeah, the last time I've been there was 10 years ago, when my brother was killed. But other than that, I used to go every December or every summertime. It used to be a family vacation.
Your brother passing away, did that happen here in Chicago or did it happen in Mexico?
Nah, so I had two older brothers, the Polka and Janaski. The Polka, he was the oldest one. He ended up dying right here in Chicago of natural causes in July 2010. And then like 4 years later, my brother got killed in Mexico. He was like a fugitive on the run.
Do you want to let us know what type of music your family listened to when you're young?
So my family used to listen to a lot of like Spanish music we call viejitas pero bonitas, which is like música grupera. Like I'm talking about like los Yonis, like way like similar to Los Temerarios, but like more old school. Like we're talking about the 80s love slow like oldies slow jams type thing. Um, but sometimes corridos like Julio Preciado, you know, like Banda Recodo in them. All the classic corridos, pretty much Juan Marta and stuff like that. But my brother's side, like we used to listen to all the Chicago shit, you know, Do or Die, Twista, the stuff we used to see in this channel called The Box before. It was like you used to be able to like text or call the number, and it'll be like a on-demand request for the song. At that time, you had a lot of like Tupac, Biggie coming out. It was like during that time when I was listening to music a lot more often. And then Master P came out with No Limit, Cash Money. So I grew up around that era. That's like the type of music that was influencing me at the time during the 90s.
So how did you get involved into the rap game?
So like I mentioned earlier, saying that we used to watch this music video channel called The Box. So my brother would stay up late as fuck, recording with the VHS, like the music videos. He would make like his own little video mixes on video cassettes. Like I don't even think we got that shit anymore. Like people really use DVDs nowadays. But he'll keep me up late as fuck at night. Like we're talking about school days, you know. I had no other choice, you know what I'm saying, but to hear the shit because I couldn't sleep. So all I heard was like him trying to rap, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll try to learn how to rap myself, you know. But I paid more attention to the beats at the time. So eventually that influenced me, and I started like writing down the lyrics to kind of like memorize what they say. But while I was writing them down, I kind of like figured out the structure, you know, like, all right, so he repeats this part a lot. I didn't know what a chorus was, what a verse was. So it all came down to me writing it down. Even my dad one time came up to me. He couldn't read the English shit that I was writing, right? I was writing down Make 'Em Say by Master P. And you know, that song says a lot of motherfucker in it, right? So I'm like writing them down, and I kind of figure out the structure of a 16 verse, like a 16 bar verse. So then I started writing my own shit, trying to like mimic that. You know, my early songs, I swear to God, they said the word motherfucker like at least 4 times in each line. And then from there, my brother was the one that was trying to aspire to be a rapper. I just liked the music. So I started like learning how to make beats with my uncle. He used to have a Mac. And he had this program called Storm. So right there, I was like fucking around making beats. So then one time my brother saw me like messing around with the beats. He's like, "Oh, let me flow to this shit I wrote." So he started like rapping over that little beat that I was making, and from there we just started like recording his first album. We used to call it like fucking around, calling it the Polka Studios at the time, you know. And then we recorded like a whole 19 track mixtape, still out there somewhere on Dat Piff or Audiomac. And then from there, like, eventually he told me, like, hey, get on a track. You know, I'm like, man, I don't want to rap. You know, I was trying to make beats. So eventually I started doing my own thing. And next thing you know, I'm over here making beats for myself and recording my own songs, which is where I came up with this song called We As D's at the time, you know.
So, what year was it around that you started making beats and rapping?
It was around when I was like 11 or 12 when I started. But we finished that album probably when I was like finishing 8th grade, which I was like 13 at the time, going to Pickard.
And these songs that you were writing, were they all English, all Spanish, or
Oh
mix?
yeah, they were mostly English. I didn't do a Spanish song till I was like probably 16 when like reggaeton was a hit. Like all the girls kept asking me like, man, write a reggaeton song. Like, man, ain't Daddy Yankee, yo, you know? So Gasolina was out at the time, like probably like 2002. So I started writing some shit for the girls, and I came up with a song called Solo Mi Amigo. And I ended up getting this girl named Marlene to sing the hook for me, you know. Originally, it was supposed to be this girl named Expression, you know, Alicia. But I kind of went with the, like, I had like two recordings, you know. I like the way Expression did it, but I kind of like the way Marlene did it better, you know. So I ended up just keeping Marlene's part. You know, sometimes you got to make decisions like that when it comes to making music. Like, you know, I like both, but I went with the other route, you know. And it was kind of funny because in the recording, she says sorry at the end, but it kind of went with the song because she's like technically she's apologizing for being just a friend to me in the song. It's called Solo Tu Amigo. That one became like a viral hit in Juarez during those days. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a Bluetooth, so everybody started transferring the song to each other after they downloaded it on MySpace.
Do you want to let us know how you get the name Infamous D?
So the name Infamous D technically is inspired from 3 6 Mafia, because I like after my no limit and Cash Money era, like the crunk movement started. But I was listening to more 3 6 Mafia at the time, when they came out with the When the Smoke Clears, for example. And Lord Infamous was my favorite rapper, right? I didn't had no idea that Infamous was spelled like infamous, but I used to always look at the dictionary and I looked up the word infamous, right? I'm like, it says like known for having a bad reputation. So when I was trying to come up with a name to describe myself, I'm like, man, I'm fucking known for having a bad reputation. I was partying all the time, fucking hoes all the time, making money all the time, getting in trouble with the law. I'm like, shit, that describes me perfectly. So I went with infamous, and I just added the D for hood-related reasons. But a lot of girls think it stands for dick, you know, because I had the infamous dick.
So, being in the music business for over 20 years now, how has your music evolved or changed over the years?
So I do what most music artists do, which is go with what's hot right now and try to like not mimic the sound, but kind of make it your own. So for example, I used to like a lot of like southern hip hop inspired me a little bit more than New York and West Coast did. So all my beats had like some trap beats before trap beats were kind of popular. So you had a lot of my music sounding like to tear the club up type shit, you know. But I would mix it with other elements. Like just keep it like I used to say, keep it real and keep it gangster. That was like my mantra when making songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta be honest about it on the lyrics. I would never rap shit I never did or wouldn't do. You know. So that kind of mixture, you know what I'm saying? Like make the beats and the songs sound the way I wanted them to sound. Um, Eventually, I started getting more into EDM, so I started making more party songs. I ended up making a song called The Way I Live, which is actually my first music video. It came out kind of fucked up because the quality got, like, when they were compressing the video, it was like literally a HD video, but then it turned out like the 90s video we used to see back in the days, bootleg as hell, you know? So then next thing you know, everybody's recording with HD, so it made my shit look like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like during that transition era. Um, so I started making like EDM party songs, just to make bitches dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been the type to try to like get people to dance. You know, that's why like a lot of people don't listen to my old stuff. They're too stuck on the gang stuff. You know, like the street stuff, the stuff I used to do for the streets. Um, so, but you got the people that like the romantic shit, which started with my my reggaeton song. So I went more towards the ladies, you know what I'm saying? Like I rather like perform for the ladies, not dudes, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, dudes still like that shit because they dedicate their songs to their girls or whatever. Like there was even this one time this dude dedicated one of my songs to my sister, which was kind of funny. You know, that shit was hilarious, but it was kind of awkward, you know, because my sister told me like, "Did you tell him it was my song?" She's like, "No," but it was fucking weird. And then eventually, like now, like this whole like I feel like my songs back in the days like kind of like initiated the drill movement, at least on the Latino side, because it all started with like gangsta boogie. Like we used to just fucking freestyle talking shit about other gangs, and then eventually we started doing actual songs dissing the other gangs. You know, I didn't really remember the like the black community doing that at the time. We're talking about the early 2000s when we started doing that shit, and then eventually Chief Keef came out. Um, and then me at that time, I was really like kind of like on a hiatus. I wasn't really making music or anything like that. I was going through my brother had just passed away, so he was the one I was making music with. So I wasn't really like trying to do music. You know what I'm saying? I had like writer's block, and then eventually, I wrote a song like for him called Shattered Dreams, and then that's when I finally got my mojo back to start writing new shit. And I released the most recent one called Bad Influence. It was like a mixtape. Most of these mixtapes they're on Audio Mac now. That Piff got some of them, but then I started just putting them together in Audio Mac because Audio Mac I don't know what happened to that Piff, but Audio Mac got better. And then eventually I did upload all my music to like Apple Music and Spotify, but it's more like a greatest hits compilation. You know, first I did had all my mixtapes, and then I saw which ones people were listening to the most. So like DistroKid lets you only put like up to 36 songs. So I ended up just making a compilation album called Infamous D. That's the one you could find right now on all the digital platforms. But right now, I'm more doing more reggaeton and Spanish trap now.
I also saw that you started a Chicago land music festival called Pura Lumbre Fest. You want to talk about what it is and why it is that you made it?
So as I mentioned, now that I'm focused more on like reggaeton and Spanish trap, I thought about it like, all right, so if I wanted to perform this kind of music, where could I go? So I was like doing my little research, trying to find shows where I could like get the right audience for it. But I realized there really wasn't much going on, you know, like literally nothing, you know. So I started putting something together, getting the venue, like doing like the stuff I used to do when I used to do shows myself back in the day. I got the venue, got the artists, and started inviting the people. And created like what you call a platform for people to make dembow, reggaeton, Spanish hip hop, or just Latin trap, so they could like showcase their talent, showcase their songs to the right audience. Because the last thing you want to do if you perform in Spanish is perform to an English crowd. They're not gonna understand what the fuck you're saying. They're probably gonna vibe with the beat, but that's about it. You know, you probably just get proud for being the only Latino there that had balls to perform in an English crowd. But that's to me, in the marketing aspect, that's a stupid thing to do.
So, how many shows have you done with that, and who are a few artists that you can name that have participated in this?
So I did it like I was doing it as a monthly thing. The only problem was that the second one, I tried to do it in a different venue, which was a dumb mistake because Stereo was trying to open the doors to us again. But the first one, I would say, that one we had like literally the hottest talent there is in Chicago. Like literally, these people are fucking great. You know, they're the ones doing numbers, the ones that actually got people that'll come see them to perform. So I'll mention a couple of them. Algari, the one, he's doing a lot of numbers right now. Santi G, he's pretty much TikTok famous. And two highlights I want to do is Saeed and Georgie One. Those two, they literally got booked to open up for Extreme just for performing at that event that I did. So that's literally the reason I did these events, so people could get exposure and open pretty much open doors and get opportunities. But it went for at least 13 volumes, I would say. When I say volumes, I'm talking about I did 13 events on a monthly basis in the past 2 years. But now we're switching it up. to a 3-day festival with 2 stages starting next summer, 2024. So it's going to be more of an annual thing just to keep it more prestigious, make it a more prestigious event that everybody wants to perform at instead of like, performing at random ass bars or. But shout out to the ones that did open the doors for us. Stereo Nightclub, even though we only did 2 there. Special shout out to La Aduana. They let us perform a lot of times there. And as a matter of fact, we had our first sold out there in August 2022. And then Sunny's Place too. They're the last ones where we did them right there.
Can you elaborate on the track that you did for the White Sox and what the story is about it?
Oh, so the story with that one is like I don't really promote my music out there. Like when I meet people, I don't tell them like, oh, I'm a rapper. I make rap music or shit like that. Um, but in my high school days, I was promoting my music. It was called Too Gangster for Radio. It was like set Infamous D, a big ass parental advisory sign with explicit lyrics. Um, it was like black cover, white font. That one I was just giving them out for free. I printed out like probably like 100 of them, and I literally just gave them out to mostly to the girls, to all the high school girls. But not at Juarez though. Juarez had already expelled me from Juarez. I was at Rudy Lozano, which is at the Instituto Latino on Blue Island and Western. It's pretty much like an alternative high school. And then I even gave it to my teachers too and shit. So my teachers knew, but he gave it back to me because I had the remix of WSD's has a part where it says like fuck Little Village. You know what I'm saying? He's from Little Village, so he's like, I like the music, but I can't bump to this because it says fuck Little Village. So he gave it back to me, but then he kept me in mind. So a couple years later, I was already not in school no more. I was like in college, and he hits me up like, hey, what's up? He was working for this TV show called Orgullo Sax, that was coming out on Univision. He was like the sound guy, like the one that decides what background music. So he told me like, hey, can you make this song? There's gonna be like an opening thing. I want to give you the opportunity to come up with it. I know you're a Sox fan. So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. And my brother, the Polka, used to be the biggest Sox fan. So I told him like, hey, this is our time to shine. I'm like, I could write it, but you know more about the White Sox than me. So he's like, oh, I got the perfect fucking verse for that. So he started writing the lyrics. I started making the beat, and then we recorded it. And not only that, I've also made some other beats for him to like do background. So like in the TV show, if you hear like Latin beats, I make those beats too. Like I made him a beat that had like a little bit of like bachata, merengue, salsa, and like reggaeton beat. You get me? So that would be like the background music when the person interviewing the people is over here like interviewing whoever she's interviewing. You hear the background music. But the opening and the ending credits was pretty much a song that me and my brother collaborated on. So when it came out for the first time, we told everybody like, hey, like we're famous and shit, like we're about to come on the Grammys or something. We're like, hey, check this out. And everybody liked it. Like, but they showed it the version out. But I released like the long version, and then there's like a shorter version of it.
So when you got in contact with the White Sox, the contract that you guys made, was it for a yearly thing, episode thing, or a one-time deal?
So it was for the first season because they were just trying it out. But it was actually like I said, my teacher was the one in charge of he was like the music director, you could say, the one that decides what music plays. So he ended up making the contract with me, and it was for $6,000 for one song and pretty much 4 beats, but it was like 4 beats in one. So it was technically like 2 tracks, you could say. But I got $6,000 for that one. But I waived my royalty fee, so I didn't really get just to give him a deal, I guess.
So I seen that you were also a host of Urban Grind TV. You want to elaborate on how it is that you got it and what it's like to be a host of a TV show?
So my first time getting experience like interviewing people, like the way we're interviewing right now, I did a podcast show on my Facebook page called Controversial One on One with Infamous D, but I was doing it like through Zoom. It was like during the pandemic shit in 2020, so I would like interview people. So then eventually, one of my guy Killslow, his friend Wally, like he used to always like visit at the family parties, and we used to always like chop it up. And he's like, "What's up, man? Come through Urban Grind, come check it out." So one time we went, and we like the vibe there. You know what I'm saying? We were at the Urban Grind Studios, and he's like, "Go ahead, interview somebody." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I just grabbed the mic. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little bit natural when it comes to like just talking on the mic or being the one with the mic. So then eventually we started coming up with the Urban Grain Latino thing after he saw me do my thing with Pura Lumbre. Like as a matter of fact, he was one of the sponsors of Pura Lumbre, the first one at Stereo in January 2022. And from there we were like trying to create a brand, Urban Grind Latino. So I would interview people in Spanish, doing the same, or interview people in English, and then actually sit down on the table with them and do it podcast style, but more professional. So shout out to Wally for the opportunity, but unfortunately he started doing like restructuring everything. So now there's new host, my boy Rio Calix. Um, and other people working there. Like everybody deserves a chance to kind of like shine. It's like other shows like MTV, BET. They change hosts, so I think even Killslow was a host one time. So we all go through. There's like a rite of passage in the music industry. If you haven't been through Urban Grind TV or Urban Grind Radio, man, better get that interview.
I had also seen on your YouTube channel that you started your own record label called 9 Entertainment. You wanna elaborate on the whole record label thing?
So when me and my brother started making music and recording, um, we just had a name for the studio, the Polka Studios. So then eventually we decided to like, all right, if we ever come up with a record label, what the hell should we call it? We're trying to be cool, like No Limit Records, Cash Money Records. But we grew up on 19th and Oakley. Like at first we were trying to call it Oakley Records, but we're like, nah, we're not really feeling it. So we started calling it 19th Street Records. So we're like, nah, let's call it Wall 9 because we had a habit of saying Wall 9. So I had the idea of putting the one next to the actual word one and then the nine next to the nine. So a lot of people thought it was like 1199 Entertainment, but I was like, nah, it's 1 9. It's just like a logo of its own in font. So we came up with 1 9 Entertainment because that's the street we pretty much grew up on and we're part of, 19th Street in Oakley over there in Pilsen.
So you've been in the music business for quite some time now. Why do you think Chicago hasn't had one Latino rapper really? I want to say blow up because we do have a few, but go mainstream.
So I would say, to be honest, when I was in the county, I actually asked a couple of black folks that question, right? Like, what will make like your people like my shit? The first thing and only thing they said was you gotta sound black. Takashi 6ix9ine did a good ass job sounding black. That's why he probably blew up. But as far as in Chicago, man, you're not gonna blow up in Chicago if you're trying to make English rap. Good luck if you actually do. That'll be actually cool to see, but I highly doubt that. It's predominantly black in the hip hop scene in Chicago. Um, like the gatekeepers, I think they'll show love first to um, their people, then they will show to a Latino, to be honest. But there is certain Latinos that get the opportunity, what I'm saying? A lot of ass kissing probably, I ain't gonna lie. But you're better off moving to the Southwest region and you probably have more chances in Texas or New Mexico, California or some shit if you're Latino. But unless you got that swag, better take your ass to New York with that real hip hop shit.
So you mentioned being locked up. You want to talk about what it was like when you went into Cook County?
Man, I fucked up and got caught uh, driving drunk, running some nigga over. I thought he had a gun, so what I'm saying, I had to do what I had to do. But other than that, just it was pretty boring. I was surrounded by people that, what I'm saying, like I feel like I don't belong in this bitch. Like I don't want to say they were slow, but goddamn, you got to be slow to end up in county, man. But I would think the worst process was going to NRC. Now that place sucks. Right there, they got you behind the wall. You're pretty much locked up 23 hours a day. Only come out for 1 hour to a cheap ass little yard with a fence on. The food gets there cold by the time it gets there. They got some bullshit called a cock in a sock. That fucking sandwich sucks. Like a big ass wiener. And then fucking, I ended up just getting sent to the penitentiary eventually for the shit that I did. I was just there for like 7 months because I copped out for like 4 years at 50%. So I only had like 7 months to do because I was fighting my case for like a year and a half. And pretty much just fucking stay in school and you'll avoid fucking county, to be honest. Or just avoid the cops.
You want to let us know what is your top 3 favorite Mexican restaurants in Chicago?
Man, I would say I would start with the hood, Taconazo, aka Taco Nasty. You know, I like eating my torta de milanesa right there. The tacos are alright. Um, Los Comales. I fuck with 18th Street and 26th Street. Both of them are good. Sometimes I can't figure out which one I order from that I like it better because they're both Los Comales, but the tacos are on point. I think I like their burritos there better actually. And a Totonilco. It might be dangerous to go over there, but I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna get my tacos. You can catch me in traffic. I don't give a fuck.
You have any upcoming projects?
So now that I'm doing like reggaeton and Spanish trap, I'm working on a project called Puro Pinche Party. Originally, I was gonna do a 6-song EP called Sexo con Ropa, but this is why I tell people to buy the beats before you even start writing to them, cause like all those instrumentals literally got sold, so it's like I can't really use them unless I. So I was gonna just release them for free, which I did. One of the songs from that EP was Mi Diablita, which is hot right now, and I'm still trying to convince the model to do the video with me, but right now she's on bullshit. But we'll get to that one day. Worst case scenario, I'm not doing a music video for that song, but I'm still gonna push it. It's called Mi Diablita. It's everywhere. Um, and I'm working on. As a matter of fact, the one Puro Piche Party is gonna have some songs with my boy Emerge. A song called Muy Wow. It's our first collaboration together, and it's his first reggaeton beat that he raps on, but it's my first weed song. Like out of all my years as a rapper, I've never made a weed song. But Muy Wow is literally a love song to weed, but acting like I'm talking to a girl. And I also got this other single called Poly, because I consider myself polyamorous, meaning that I believe you could be with more than one person and still love all of them equally, or not equally, but the same way. You know, like it's possible. I even mentioned that in The Way I Live, but that's what's coming up next. I also got the Spanish trap song called No Nacimos Ricos, so that's like my comeback to street shit, but in Spanish with a trap beat, like more modern beat, you know. But look out for that one, Puro Pinche Party. I'm gonna tell them like most people say, just Google me, literally, Infamous D, INFAMOUS D, or all my URLs got the same shit, and I recommend every artist does the same thing. Make sure the URL matches the same thing. At one infamous nine. So one the number, infamous the word, nine the number. That's pretty much all my social media. Instagram, Facebook. I don't fuck with Twitter, and Snapchat. It's only for the girls.